All right. Hello and welcome to Move with the New Moon in Scorpio. I'm Corrine McClure-Kay, and we are going to start this off with the mini lesson. I always preface this with I'm not an astrologer, but I love to work with the cosmos and especially with the moon as a sort of, I feel like it's a healthy cadence. It gives my life some cadence to move with the moon. And this month we are celebrating the new moon in Scorpio. I actually have my astrological, my moon is in Scorpio in my birth sign. So just a little bit on Scorpio and this kind of underworld energy. Scorpio it can, I feel like it takes on a lot of forms. It can be talked about as like the underworld. It can be talked about as kind of things that are taboo. It can be talked about as kind of some shadow, dark kind of energies. I also think it's a really powerful energy for stepping into the darkness. So like it's like a really empowering sign to kind of give us the courage to walk into the darkness, to look into in the dark corners. So that is the astrological sign that we're working with. I have these little cards that this is a little book. It's just a little astrology guidebook. And so the words on here are, I can't read it backwards, intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. So yeah, we're going to be going into the roots of things this month. The other thing that I always look at is the I Ching gate that is being transited. So through human design and the gene keys, we use the Chinese I Ching, which is an oracle of 64 archetypes. It's the 64 hexagrams. And this month we are working with gate 43. This is the gate, in traditional human design, it's called the gate of breakthrough. In quantum human design, it's called the gate of insight. And in gene keys, what we're really talking about is, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the shadow and the gift of this frequency. So this gate is really about, it's about deep knowing and also not knowing. And interestingly enough, I have been recently having a lot of conversations about chaos and the feminine. And when we really are talking about feminine energy, it can be a little misleading because it's like, oh, the feminine, it's beauty and adornment and all of these lovely things that it can be. But at its core, feminine is really the disorder. It really is the chaos. And so when we're talking about this Gene Key 43, which is the energy of this new moon, in its shadow frequency, in Gene Keys, we're talking about deafness. And the way that Richard Rudd, the founder of the Gene Keys, describes deafness is it's not an inability, it's not lack of sound, it's not lack of noise, it's a bunch of noise, but you can't hear the message. And so when we're looking at the shadow of this, it's when we're really seeking the message, but we can't hear it because we're not available for it. And so what he's talking about a lot here is that a real shadow aspect of this is worrying. So it's a lot of extraneous, unnecessary thoughts, and like it's almost like created problems that we will then fixate on and then not be able to have the insight, the gift, which is insight from our own inner wisdom and awareness. And so we're going to be kind of playing with these energies of clearing out the worry, the deafening noise, and moving into the insight and really the rebellion of listening to ourselves. And I want to read you a couple of really beautiful quotes before we get into moving. And he's talking a little bit about what a breakthrough really means, what it really means to become a creative rebel. And he says the creative rebel isn't afraid of society or its projections. The creative rebel breaks through the niceties, but is still courteous and respectful. This isn't an angry rebellion. It's a rebellion of delight, a glittering pair of eyes. And so as we're moving tonight and we're thinking about going into our depths and going into our dark places, it's really an act of delight. And there's so much joy to be found here when we arrive available to listen. So those are just kind of the key themes that we're going to be addressing. And I'm going to recommend for the movement this evening, if you have, I don't practice on a mat, I just practice on the floor. But if you have something that you want to practice on, or if you have tight hamstrings, we are going to be sitting on the floor for a little bit, a good first portion of the practice. If you want to have a pillow or a towel or a rolled up mat to sit on, just to prop yourself up so you can be in upright posture, go ahead and grab that now.